Hello and welcome to the Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Rakhee Bakshee. In this show, as you know, that we bring you leading personalities, and in this special episode also we bring to you a very special guest with us on Rajya Sabha TV. She's somebody who's really well known on TV, national spokesperson for the BJP, also the treasurer in Maharashtra BJP. I welcome Shaina NC. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
In fact, we're talking at a time when it's really crucial for the party, I would say for the government, almost completing 2 years. How would you really look at it?
I think it's a fantastic 2 years because if you see 60 years of misrule and misgovernance, there are so many issues that one can rake up. But I think I wouldn't want to go into history. Let's talk about what we've done. Whether it's a Jandan Yojana, whether it's a Mudra banking scheme, whether it's an insurance scheme or a pension plan which was not prevalent in the past, we've reached out to crores and crores of people. You take social aspects like a Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. You look at the speed at which Nitin Gadkari and our ministers in the highways are creating roads, Suresh Prabhu in railways, the Prime Minister himself in terms of his political will and the esteem of the country is at an all-time high.
Someone would argue that how much these schemes are actually working, as they say, in terms of really reaching out to the people on the ground.
I think they've percolated down, definitely. If you take a Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, you see in every household how the environment is so conducive to a girl who is at par with a male counterpart, whether it's studying or being empowered in real life. Look at skill development, what we've done with trying to create varied jobs. So you take a fisherwoman in Gujarat who was a tribal who would earn 8,000 rupees. Today she's earning 16 and 20,000 rupees. I think our Prime Minister has a vision plan for this country which cannot be just tied down to 2 years. If you've given them 60 years, at least give us 20 to show what we can do to transform India.
But one keeps talking to people and the impression one gets is that these schemes really sound very nice as to how much actually is working for the daily lives. For example, look at price rise and 200 rupees a kilo, something around that. I mean, it still hurts the people.
Yes, I think that I have to concede that there are some challenges, big challenges, whether it's food inflation, whether it is, ensuring that we are able to meet our targets when it comes to employment. The kind of infrastructure projects we have are also mammoth in size. But most important, Rakhee ji, is the political will. Where before have you had a government that talks about stability, political will, coupled with a strong leader who gives you a sense of pride? Today, an Indian going world over feels a sense of wow, that I come from this country where Modi comes from. Where was that ever prevalent in the past?
And of course, he's going abroad, as we are seeing all his travels and tours to all these countries. But let's come back to Maharashtra, and something which is very crucial right now to be talked about is the whole drought crisis. I mean, look at how people are really dying. I'm not going in right now into, so many farmer suicides which is happening, really disturbing, Shaina.
I have to concede that drought is a big issue, but look at the way we've combated it. You had a previous government that spent 72,000 crores in an irrigation scam where we weren't even able to increase 1% the irrigated land. You had dams which were collapsing. You had people who were talking about insensitive commentary of urinating in dams. I won't get into all of that. But what did we do? We came to power. Devendra Fadnavis, our Chief Minister, immediately started the Jal Yug Shivar, which is a people, government, public-private partnership where we have created 1,20,000 constructions of trenches so that one drop of water that falls in the rain is conserved and saved and utilized.
But still, and I'm not giving carrying water to look at that kind of situation.
Obviously, you'll have that if there is a sense of drought right now. But look at what Rajendra Singh, the Jal Purush of this country, has said. He said what Maharashtra has done is a game changer in the days to come. You and me cannot fight global warming on a political podium. It has to be fought where one side you have hailstorms, you have drought, you have floods. We have used technology from Israel where we've said 1 drop per crop. Use cash-rich crops, make sure that we have
mammoth damage. I'm sorry to interrupt you here. Look at the mammoth damage in terms of all these farmers committing suicide. The number is really disturbing. Look at the kind of damage it has hurt, the crops, look at the fodder, look at the animals who are dying, and look at a woman who actually died waiting in a queue.
But the drought is not the doing of the government. It is a climatic situation.
I'm saying it's a chain of so many years.
The sad part is, what have we viewed drought as in the past? It has always been We will give freebies, we will give subsidies, we will give loan waivers. Have any of us really thought about how we can empower the life of the farmer, which means that they earn well, they study well, their health plan is taken care of, and we use technology to the best. So instead of growing sugarcane, where you completely use all the water consumed for one crop, which doesn't give you a revenue, use it for others, which will give you the revenue, and you will have a self-sustained model. We have worked so extensively in varied departments in Maharashtra
That's what I really
that
want to know.
I can assure you the first rain itself, the water that is conserved will be used in a judicious manner to ensure that in the years to come we don't go through this situation repeatedly. It has taken us 2 years to have these 1,20,000 constructions, to distribute 5 lakh solar pumps, to give all kinds of waivers
But
for loans.
where it is really, again, I would ask, reaching the people in terms of all these cries that we hear, and some of those steps that maybe individually people like Nana Patekar takes, but how exactly the government as such has been able to take on the responsibility and be seen as somebody who's lending shoulder?
I think the government has done a fantastic job under the leadership of Devendra Fadnavis. There is zero corruption, zero pilferage of any kind of money that was meant to be used for the farmer, and more importantly, in the days to come, every drop of water that is conserved will ensure that out of 11 dams in Marathwada today, 7 don't have a drop of water, and the balance don't even have 5%. So in that sense, we have our systems in place. We will ensure that this is a game changer in the days to come, and Jalyuk Shivar has been copied by other states like Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. And if you take our adjacent states,
are you taking some volunteers, like you talked about Rajen Singh? I mean, is there any scheme which you'd like to share wherein you're really taking people's participation somewhere into?
We have a lot of public-private partnership. We've had students, little kids who have come with all kinds of checks to this campaign, where they've wanted to adopt villages, take on one trench, which is actual construction of one trench. And ironically, when you all played that story of Pankaja Munde, what was she trying to show? She was trying to show the happiness that this scheme has materialized, and she was showing a photograph of where water has actually been collected as a real life example.
I know, and it went viral in so many other ways.
It went off tangent totally. So the good work that is being done by the Maharashtra government is the things that I think we should be talking about, and rather than getting into petty controversies.
Before I really come to the national scene, another question, of course, political one with Shiv Sena. I mean, this alliance is something that, it's like two, organizations
strange
coming
bedfellows.
Yeah,
No, I don't think that. I think this alliance has gone back a long time, and clearly there could be a difference, legitimate voice of dissent which the Sena has, and we may have a contrarian view. But our interest is the progress of Maharashtra, the people who have given us a mandate and given us a mandate on development. And I think we will continue to work in that direction, and with the speed with which we're working. Absolutely, there could be contentious issues where there could be a difference of opinion, but that does not suggest that the end result, the beneficiary, is not the local of the state.
So we're talking about economy, which maybe one is working on. Look at talking about women and bar girls again. How would you really look at the safety of women in Maharashtra in particular?
I think it has improved a lot.
Mumbai rather, yeah.
In Mumbai, the safety of women has clearly improved. The first phase of the CCTV cameras in South Mumbai, for example, where we didn't even have any footage. If a girl was being molested, we didn't even have evidence. I think that when it comes to women's safety, there are few aspects. First, the trains, because it's the lifeline of Mumbai. Lakhs and lakhs of people travel. Women who work at call centers and now with the Factories Act are allowed to work till late hours in the morning. They need certain kind of security. But our city is still very respecting of women and very safe. There are contrarian odd cases. You take the Keenan Rubin case, the Shakti Mills, which are things that have been highlighted with the press. But I think that that is a battle we're fighting all across the country when it comes to mindset, when it comes to temperament, when it comes to fear of law, when we talk about police sensitivity. So all those are systemic changes. But all in all, where you have the political will to say that if there is any atrocity and you will be convicted in stipulated time through fast track courts and with the conviction that the person will get the severest punishment, that's when the ball game changes.
Coming down to the national scene now, and I can't miss Augusta Westland is something that is rocking the parliament. One would also say whether it is something to do with diversion in a way, because we should be discussing poverty, we should be discussing what's happening, let's say in Maharashtra in terms of farmers and the whole water crisis, rather than actually now talking about, I mean, somebody would say that, you know, you're looking like somebody who's not a ruling party, but you are going back and saying, oh, what was done.
I think that we need to establish two facts. Augusta is not the BJP's doing. This is a revelation that came up when Judge Marco in an Italian court said that these are the findings, that there were bribe givers and there were bribe takers, and who they are need to be investigated by the Indian government if Indian politicians were involved, etc. So this so-called revelation of a person who found the actual scam was in Italy. Once it came to the notice of the Defence Ministry and of course a lot of parliamentarians, people do want to ask questions.
Did it take some more time than it should have taken? I mean, more time than usual?
When did this revelation come up? It came up last month in an Italian court. So the BJP is not on any witch hunt. And for those leaders who think they're happy to be targeted, I can't understand this kind of commentary. If at all, if there is a substantiated allegation, you need to reply. You need to say what actually transpired, what actually happened, and in the days to come, if you want to ensure that there is a kind of probity in public life, questions need to be answered. By just running into the well and stalling parliament, what are you achieving?
Certainly not becoming of what elected representatives should do, but let's take a very short break, and I know that you're also short of time. A very short break here on the Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. We are talking to Shaina NC, but many important questions still need to be answered, and don't go away, still watch the Quest. We are right here. Welcome back to the show. You're watching The Quest here on Rajya Sabha TV, and we are talking to Shaina NC, of course, answering questions very strategically, but many more needs to be answered. Of course, going on Augusta, actually, look at how you should have actually also taken it up. I mean, the court should have done something, should have gone and taken the methods that are available there in terms of, you know, solving the case, rather than, I mean, what we see in Parliament, something which each time we say that we are not happy with, but happens.
It's up to the opposition party as to how they want to respond in Parliament. The way I see it, and as a young leader of a political party, if there is an allegation which is substantiated with evidence, clearly you should respond to it, not say that, no, you prove it. I mean, the CBI is doing its job. The Central Bureau of Investigation is a free and fair investigative agency that is going to bring this in the public domain. Whether Mr. Tyagi is a part of it or not is only one aspect of this whole case. We know that if you're buying 12 helicopters and this is a 3,600 crore scam, the money has clearly gone somewhere. There are bribe givers, bribe takers that need to be found, and I think that in the public domain, you have two aspects. The media will continue to do what it needs to, but Parliament is the place to debate, discuss and give logic. And if that logic is befitting and acceptable, I'm sure the people of this country will accept it. If they feel not, they will be outraged.
Will somebody also say that, you know, why suddenly you are midway in terms of the government now, 2 years, and very shortly you'll be actually the halfway mark? How would you really look at the government now being offensive? Look at all these elections happening in the states. How much chances do you see BJP really doing well?
I don't think that you need to view every single assembly election as a mandate on the central government. I mean, we won in Maharashtra, we won in Jharkhand, we won in Jammu and Kashmir. Nobody seems to be won in Haryana, which was a Congress turf. Nobody seems to be discussing any of that. We're only getting into what happened in Bihar or what happened in a small place like Delhi, where there could have been a public sentiment to suggest that, give somebody else a chance, which is fair in a democracy. So if you not at all, not at all, because the performance will only prove tried and tested is probably much better and safer in a democracy like ours, which is so vibrant and so full of opinion and so full of people having their own take. Kerala is clearly not our turf, but despite that, we have made severe inroads. Likewise, we have done in West Bengal. In Assam, I'm sure we're going to win, and we're going to give a government which actually talks about the development of the Northeast, which has been neglected in the past and neglected very poorly despite giving a clear mandate to a particular party. So I'm very hopeful. Tamil Nadu, of course, is a difficult terrain, but having said that, we have made our inroads there too. So BJP as a national party is the largest party in the universe today. So when we talk about a Sadasyata Abhiyan, it was not just to say we have so many members, but to show the world that today the BJP is a cadre-based organization where Karyakartas toil in...
Does that not limit you when you talk about Hindutva, when you talk about basically Mandir, then there's certain eyebrows?
No, but what is Hindutva? Hindutva only means justice to all and appeasement to none. So if we are going to have a debate based on a certain thought process that people have created of an ideology to suggest it's saffron, that is not necessarily true. You have to have a mindset which says that every Indian citizen, irrespective of where he or she comes from, is given everything at par.
Since you mentioned this Indianness, do you think this word is being really discussed a lot than it should have been?
The Bharat Mata ki Jai?
Bharat Mata ki Jai, and who's not?
I really can't understand this controversy of Bharat Mata ki Jai, because when you say a Jai Hind, a Jai Bharat, a Jai Hindustan, Hindustan ki Jai, Bharat Mata ki Jai, what is the controversy? You are applauding your motherland, you are loving and respecting your land with patriotism. And if as an Indian you don't feel a sense of that, or you don't want to express it, I think it's an apologetic situation.
We are all proud of course, to be an Indian. Two states again, Punjab and UP, is something that you look at and you'll have to maybe work hard.
We work hard on every election. Our party president Amit Shah ji is probably one of the most hard-working presidents I have ever seen in my limited time, and I'm sure the party has ever seen, because he traverses every single state, makes sure that he is there whilst the soldiers are fighting the war, and ensures that he puts in his best irrespective of the outcome. I think that in itself is a kind of dedication that he as a party worker had when he wasn't the president and when he's gone on to become. Yeah. So I think that if we owe the success of UP in the Lok Sabha elections, it's clearly to Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, and I'm sure it would be the same in the assembly as well. And if there is a different choice that people choose to express in a Punjab or a UP, it is only a check and balance. I don't think that is a negative or positive vote.
Let's come to you for a while. From a fashion designing career, which you're really good at, and you drip sarees in 10 seconds, we were reading, to in politics now and in BJP?
Well, most people question this odd combination, and moment they say you're from the glamour industry, they think you're some dumb bimbo who has no knowledge of the political space. I remember the first time I fought an election in 2004, people said, इसको तो सिर्फ साड़ी बांधना आता है, वो राजनीति में क्या करेगी? And I wanted to do away with that stereotypical mindset. I'm a student of political science and law. I've been in the party 13 years now. I started off as fighting elections, becoming the secretary of Mumbai, spokesperson of BJP in Maharashtra, went on to become the panelist in the national spokesperson's team, and currently I am the only woman treasurer in the country.
That's very nice. How do you see your journey going in terms of now really getting a position maybe?
I don't think that this is a party where you need to yearn for a position. everyone is rewarded. If you take examples of people like a Nitin Gadkari, who was a Karyakarta, went on to become the party president, or an Amit Shah ji, who was a MLA and went on to become the party president, or a Narendra Modi ji, that people critiqued for years and years and years and went on to become the prime minister of this country. So I truly believe that BJP is a party of opportunity. You have stalwarts like Arun Jaitley, who have dedicated so many years to public life, given up their career of law, and nobody seems to have questioned that. I continue to have a career in the fashion industry, which prospers, and as they say, that's what keeps me honest, and that is my profession. Politics is clearly my passion. So the NC will always stand for non-corruptible in politics.
One thing which I think this question also comes up, because you keep defending many of them already on a daily basis almost. This whole BJP, the government and this Sangh combination keeps getting raised. How do you really look at it? What's happening there?
You know, Rakhee ji, my mother is a Muslim, my father is a Rajput from Saurashtra, my husband's a Marwari Jain. And I had no knowledge of the Sangh when I joined the party, except what I would have read in the books and magazines and newspapers, and I had an opinion which most people had. When I went on to work with them, I genuinely tell you, the kind of dedication to this country in terms of a die-hard passion to give up everything for the motherland, it teaches you that this is the only organization in the world, and I'm saying in the world, that has this kind of an ideology, commitment to the nation and to the improvement of Bharat. I feel very, very proud more to be associated to the RSS than to be associated to maybe even the BJP.
Really?
Because I feel that there's no compromise on ideology, there's no compromise on value system, and they will continue to work. You can have any propaganda, any kind of controversy, they will not even clarify, they will continue to only work.
You know, we know, Shaina ji, that you are in Mumbai and you really mean so much, and Mumbai means so much to you. Do we see you coming to Delhi soon?
Only destiny knows and God knows. And as I said, I am a committed worker of my party, and I will continue to do whatever my party says. If my party says you need to work in Maharashtra, I will work in Maharashtra. If they say come here, I will come here. If they say you have to work in both places, I will do that too.
About women and this whole social inclusion that one is talking about here in India, let's talk about that as to what's happening, because that's something that is also reflected when we go out and it's being looked at. How would you really look at the social sector, maybe given more funding, maybe women being supported? You talked about the schemes, but on the ground,
I think first, for starters, in India, women need to support women. I've noticed in most households, the culprit is the woman. If she has a girl and a boy, for example, she will always say that the ladka ko padhne do, ladka ke upar ye, ladki abhi uski to shaadi hone wali hai. So this mindset change needs to happen from family, moving on to public space, moving on to professional space, and thereon. Today, the problem is that we have women in politics, for example, but they are in positions of power and in limited positions of power. Why do we all talk about a 33% reservation? Because we feel that women are capable, they must be given that space and opportunity, and unfortunately there is a certain kind of question mark when it comes to the next election. She'll probably be given the ticket which nobody else wants, or just as a token, or just as a suggestion.
So do we see it happening, since you mentioned?
I really hope. I think that every party needs to focus on this as an agenda.
And Nirbhaya Fund, because when it was announced, we really thought it was a hopeful sign that, somebody would get support, because we do understand, and you agree also, that the crime regarding women is disturbing.
Crime, along with that, the mindset. I mean, how many of us, if you ask me today, I'm in public life, my support system is my husband. And very few Indian women actually have men who push them in the public space or allow them to live their dream. So I think that as a society, we need to do a little bit of introspection rather than suggest that things should happen like this or like that.
And what's your quest, as we're wrapping up and now finish the program, what's your quest, Shaina NC?
In the sense?
Everyone has a quest, and that's why I titled the program like that, a journey that you look at, a dream that you maybe see, any roadmap that you have.
To tell you very honestly, my entire political ambition was to be the spokesperson of the party, and I don't think. But my quest, and in the days to come, I hope that women can empower women, And when I say empower, I mean genuinely make sure that she's literate, safe, secure, and financially independent. Moment a woman is financially independent, the way society views her, men in society, women in society, everyone gives her a certain kind of elevation. So I am one of those who would hope that the 33% reservation is a reality in the days to come, and a reality so that women in parliament can empower other women in society.
And whenever that happens, we'll still be talking to you. Thank you so much for spending all
Thank
this
you,
time
Rakhee.
coming on to Rajya Sabha TV. Wish you all the best also, Shaina NC. And that was Shaina NC talking to us on a range of issues. Of course, there are challenges that the government faces, and as a spokesperson, she managed to answer many of them. But thanks for watching this episode of The Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. Namaskar and bye-bye.